Okie dokie, everybody. Week 8. I can't believe it. It's here already. We made it to the final week of class. I'm very proud of you. Easy way out. Chapter 16 and 17. Like I said last week, chapter 17 is very short. We have 6 learning outcomes that we want to address this week. And to fully be successful this week, chapters 1 through 17 PowerPoints. Go ahead and look it over one last time. Read chapters 16 and 17. Work individually to complete the problems for chapter 16. There are no problems for chapter 17. There is a quiz for chapter 16 and 17. And there's a case study that you're going to conclude your case study with chapter 16 and 17. And we have one last discussion to go. Complete test number 4 and the final exam. So review all the PowerPoints, read chapter 16 and 17, do the 16 problems, the quiz for 16 and 17, the continuing case study for 16 and 17, your initial discussion post by Wednesday, 2 replies by Sunday. No, by Friday. I'm sorry, 2 replies by Friday this week because our week ends short. All of this is due by Friday. And test number 4 and final exam. Please understand, and it's in bold at the top. Please remember that all assignments are due by Friday at 11:59 p.m. this week because that's the official end of the class. Because I have to have everything graded and grades turned in by Monday. So I have the weekend to do it. So please, please, please do not forget that everything is due this week by Friday. It's a short week. Okay, so let's look at chapter 16 right quick. Since it's a short week, we don't have time to waste. So retirement and estate planning. We have been through your whole life cycles, from moving into the college at the house at 906 East College Street, and taking that group all the way through everything that they've lived with their college. And we've went through lots of things with you personally through the different life cycles. And now we want to talk about retirement because it's important. And it doesn't matter if you're 18, 28, 38, 48, it's important to save and be ready for retirement. So let's look at the learning objectives. 16.1, recognize the benefits of retirement planning and the importance of starting early. 16.2, grasp the importance of having a will and advance directives and learn how estate planning methods can be used to transfer wealth. We mentioned wills and advance directives briefly when we were talking about insurance, but it's very, very important. And learning objective number 3, explore how charitable giving impacts tax liability. Because you can give your money away too, which is nice. Reasons to save for retirement. As a new graduate, that you may soon be or whatever, you may feel like you could work forever, but there's no guarantee you will feel the same way when you're in your 60s. Better to save now and have the option to retire than to be 65 years old, burned out, and have no savings. And as a person who is approaching that era of her life, I can tell you that you get a point where you go, even though I love my job and I have no intention of stopping right now, you get to the point where you go, Jesus, isn't it time to just relax a little bit? So you may have a change of heart, a lack of choice. If you don't save for retirement, many older workers, you don't have a choice. You may be forced into retirement because of a health problem. Your company may downsize or merge with another company, and as a result, your position may be eliminated, and off you are there with no safety net. So please understand that sometimes the choice is not yours. You might feel like working until you're 70, but then the choice is not yours. Your family may have an impact. Retirement savings can be passed on to your children if you end up not needing them, or to others if you don't have children. We're going to, like I said, we're going to talk about charitable giving. Sabbatical options. While you may plan to work forever, there's some value in taking time off to rejuvenate. Retirement savings can help you finance a sabbatical, take a break. And second lifetime career option. Down the road, you may find yourself wanting to explore a new career path. Having sizable savings allows you the financial independence to select a career that provides you joy regardless of pay. Having enough money saved frees you to pursue your passion, devote time to a cause, or otherwise spend your time without having to worry about taking a drop in your standard of living. The money's there. So if you want to travel or if you want to do other things, you have, because most of us are going to live longer than when we retire. That's the hope. And so what you want is to have the money there to where you can do what you want to do and relax a little bit. That's part of the American dream, as it were. So some retirement plans, a traditional 401k is money is deducted pre-tax from your paycheck. You don't ever see it. It does grow tax deferred, and many companies will match a percentage. So if you put in 3%, they put in 3% for a total of 6% or what have you. It may require a vesting period, which means that you have to work a certain amount of time with the company before you are vested in the retirement fund. Excuse me. There are many investment options for the 401ks. They're very flexible. There's generally no penalty to access the funds after age 59 and a half, but you do pay taxes upon your withdrawal because, like a traditional IRA, you didn't pay taxes when you put them in. Okay? So just like a traditional IRA, there's a Roth 401k and a Roth IRA. And we have the traditional 401k, traditional IRA. We have a Roth 401k, a Roth, just like the Roth IRA. I'll get it straight in a minute. For a Roth 401k, the money is deducted after you pay taxes from your paycheck. It grows tax-free, just like the other one. Your company will match percentage, and which is free money, just like the other. It may require a vesting period, maybe 1 year. Sometimes I worked with the state of North Carolina. That was a 5-year vesting period. There's many options to invest. No penalty after age 59. But with a Roth 401k, you do not pay taxes upon withdrawal because you've already paid them, just like with the Roth IRA. Company retirement plans, a simplified employee pension. It is very rare to see this anymore, but this used to be the tradition. Good for small companies or self-employed individuals. It allows for pre-tax contributions, and it's similar to a 401k. A simplified employee pension plan used to be very standard, whereas the company would pay an amount in for you, and you really didn't have to contribute that much, and at the end you drew a pension. As a self-employed person, you are the company, so by you paying it in, you're paying it in for yourself. And there's a slide that contrasts the traditional IRA and the Roth IRA, which we've talked about. Traditional IRA, pre-tax contributions. Roth IRA, post-tax contributions. Everything else is the same until it's time to draw the money out. With a traditional IRA, you pay taxes when you withdraw because you didn't pay them when you put it in. With Roth IRA, you pay taxes when you put it in, so you don't have to pay when you pull it out. Okay? And there is a comparison of how much money you do with the tax-free versus the taxable. Understanding that you're going to get more money out with the tax-free, the red line, but you are going to have to pay taxes on it. So 6 of one, half dozen of the other, really. Depends on when you want to pay the taxes. A spousal IRA. You can set up an IRA for your spouse if you have unequal compensation. Let's say that one of you works full-time and one of you works part-time, or one of you does not work outside the home because one stays home with the children. You have unequal compensation. You must file a joint tax return, and you can make deductible contributions on behalf of your spouse. An annuity, we've talked about those before, a financial instruction product. Typically, insurance companies do annuities, but it provides a stream of income in retirement, can be sold by financial institutions, financial planners, and insurance agencies. And what you do is you buy an annuity through one of those entities, and you pay in, and then when it comes time to withdraw, maybe you pay a lump sum now, and then you get a stream of income later, or there's graduated payments. There's all kinds of ways to set it up. Now, of course, I have that J.G. Wentworth song in my head from the commercial. That's the other place where somebody has an annuity and they're like, the money will come to me in payments, but I need the money now. I'll sell it to you at a discount if you just give me a lump sum, and then you can collect the annuity, as it comes payments. There's a chart on the PowerPoint that compares the different retirement fund compensation areas, the Roth IRA, the IRA, the Roth 401k, and the 401k on different criteria. Social Security is something that most people have at least heard of. It's been around since August 14th, 1935. It provides a safety net, but it's not enough money to live off of. It's not a retirement fund in and of itself. The benefits are based on a lifetime average earning of your 35 highest years of wages, and the longer that you wait to draw your Social Security, the higher the monthly amount. Also, what's happening is that the age in which you can draw Social Security is different depending upon how old you are. So you would need to check with your government. They send you out, I get one periodically. It's a statement from the Social Security Administration telling me when can I retire, and how much I would get if I retired at this age, how much if I retired at that age, how much I retired at the third age, and that kind of stuff, so you can see what you will get. So monthly benefit amounts differ depending on the age you decide to start receiving benefits. This example assumes a benefit of $1,000 at a full retirement age of 66. So if you start taking it at 62, which is I think the earliest you can get it, you rather than $1,000, you're only going to get $750 a month. But the idea is you're going to get it for longer. Okay, so 66 is 1,000. If you wait to 70, you'll get 1,320, and that's just a sample of how the money would be different based on what time you decide to take your retirement. And there's that Social Security statement that I told you about. I get mine electronically. I'm assuming that you could get it through the mail. And here there is a chart in the PowerPoint about the life stages and what happens, like if you're doing a Roth IRA, one small investment at age 16 pays big at age 50, which is 54 years later. So if you initial investment at age 16, you buy Series 1, it's $1,000, value at age 66, $117,000, and value age 7, $171,000. But if you gave $5,000, which is the red line, at age 16, and at age 66 it'd be $586,954, and at age 70, $859,360. Now, this is assuming that you do that initial investment at age 16 and let it grow and never touch it. So please understand, if you withdraw early or something like that, it could be different. So in our life stages, again, early family, the Roth IRA is good, the 401k. By age 44, you hope to have 2 times your annual salary in your retirement account. Okay? So if your annual salary is $100,000, for easy math, by age 44, you want $200,000 in your retirement account. At empty nest, maximize your Roth IRA, maximize your 401k. By age 54, have 4 times your annual salary in your retirement account. So in that 10 years between 44 and 54, you double it again. So if your average salary again is $100,000, just for easy math, $200,000 by age 44, $400,000 by age 54. And in retirement, you can go ahead and continue to work and contribute to your retirement account. Go ahead and make your plan of when you retire. You know, may start a second career. You may work part-time. There's certain types of restrictions on what you can do and still draw full retirement. Like, for example, with the state, I know teachers, you can be a retired teacher and still go back and teach like a little bit, like half-time or half a year, and that doesn't mess with your retirement. So, you know, it just depends on what you want to do, what you feel like you need to do. Estate planning. You need to have a last will and testament, or a will. You need to have some kind of a final say in what happens to your money and to your property. Dying, it's called the state of dying with a will is when you die testate, T-E-S-T-A-T-E, testate. If you die intestate, you don't have a will, and that creates problems for whomever may be in line to inherit your property. You have to go through probate with a will. With a will, it's very simple. The will is in order. The probate process takes like 5-10 minutes. You go to the courthouse, it's probated, and it's whatever is yours. If you don't have a will, someone has to be named by the court as an administrator or administratrix if it's a woman, and then they have to provide an accounting of everything that you owe: money, household property, cars, real estate, whatever. And you have to put announcements. Well, you have to do this with a will as well, but you have to put announcements in the paper that you have died, and if there's anybody who has a claim against your estate, they have to do it within a certain number of days. The executor is listed. That's a person who will attend to your estate according to your will. If you don't have an executor, it's called an administrator. It's good to have a letter of intent, which is instructions to your executor and heirs. That way nobody's guessing. If you die intestate without a will, the court determines who gets what. If they can't find a close enough relative to give your stuff to, I know in the state of North Carolina, all of your stuff gets sold out and the money goes to a scholarship fund for students to go to college in the state of North Carolina at the state schools, not a private school. Probate is the process of proving a will in court, and it's very simple. I went with my father to probate my mother's will. It did not take very long at all, but my father did not update his will because they had a joint will. He didn't think he had to, despite my best efforts to the contrary. And so that's why I know about being an administratrix. I was the administratrix of his will. It took a year of going through everything to get it straight. And I'm an only child, so I had no brothers or sisters to split anything with. Imagine how much harder it would be if you had brothers and sisters that may be fighting over, well, they said I got the dishes, well, I got this, and everything like that. It can be a really big pain in the tail. It can tear families apart. So having a will is very smart. In estate and inheritance taxes, in 2016, $5.45 million extension up to 40% in excess of $5.45 million. Like I said, you got to have a lot of money before you start paying inheritance tax. So if you have less than $5.45 million in your estate, you're not going to pay an estate tax. But if you have over that, it's going to be more than that. Now the state, in the state of North Carolina, it was $1 million. So that's federal. Must file estate taxes within 9 months after a person dies. And inheritance tax is the tax you pay on property you inherit. And again, it's by state, depending upon how much money you get, is how much money you have to pay taxes on. So you need to look into that. A trust is different from a will. A trustor is a person who puts money into a trust, and that's done before death, and it's done in anticipation of providing money to someone after death or after a certain age. A trustee is the person who manages the money in a trust, and that's usually a lawyer. The beneficiary is the person who receives the benefit of the trust. A revocable trust can be changed at any time, and irrevocable trust cannot be changed. But what is a trust? It's money that you have put into an account much like a bank or savings account, that gains interest, and generally depends on how you set it up. But like, for example, let's say you have a grandchild that you want to provide for, or grandchildren that you want to provide for. You can set up a trust for each one of them with a certain amount of money in it, and you can say that upon their 21st birthday, they can start withdrawing interest off of the trust, but they cannot touch the principal. And then when they hit 40, they could touch the principal, and they could withdraw any kind of money they want out of the trust until it's gone. Or, you know, it could be something where you set it up to where they don't get a dime until they get 35 if they're irresponsible and you want to try to give them time to mature. But once they get it, they get everything. I mean, you set it up however you want. Like I said, a revocable trust, you can change it. An irrevocable trust, once that's set up, it's set in stone. So before you do that, make sure you're sure that this is what you want to have done with your money, because once you do it, even you can't change it. Okay? Some trusts types, a bypass trust can be used to reduce inheritance and estate taxes, and because it allows assets to pass tax-free to heirs, because it's in the trust, it's not in a lump sum payment. A charitable remainder trust is irrevocable where the beneficiary is a charitable organization. So let's say you want to give money to the Cancer Association, or to the Heart Association, or to ASPCA, whatever. It's irrevocable. You are able to take a tax deduction when you establish the trust on any money that you put into the trust, and you can live off the profits of the trust until you die. So any interest and everything, as long as you just don't touch the principal, and then once you die, the money that's left over goes to the charity, which is nice. A revocable living trust is usually used to avoid probate if there's an issue with the will. Okay. Well, the little notes asked me to talk about the death of Campbell Soup magnate John Dorrance, who lived in both New Jersey and Pennsylvania. Both states claimed that they had that they wanted to get Dorrance's estate tax because he lived in both states. They both claimed they were due $15 million in estate. Wow. State taxes. Twice the U.S. Supreme Court refused to break the deadlock, and after a 6-year battle, the John Dorrance estate paid taxes of $15 million to each state. So $30 million was paid in total because of estate taxes. It can be a lot. So some legal papers that you should have. A power of attorney denotes an attorney in fact, a person who is given written authority to act on your behalf, can act on your behalf to sign contracts, buy and sell assets, pay bills, etc. Now, be careful when you start doing these kind of things, because you don't want to give somebody so much power that they can take over your life. But it is a good idea to have a power of attorney in case that you are ill. So what you can do instead of a general power of attorney is set up what's called a limited power of attorney, which is used to allow an attorney in fact to be established in specific situations or to complete certain actions. So if I were to become in a persistent vegetative state, or if I were in a coma, that kind of stuff. A lot of times when people go into surgery, they have a power of attorney just in case something happens during the surgery. Advanced directives, we mentioned this before, state your healthcare choices and designates who will make choices for you if you're unable to do so. Like a do not resuscitate order, or if my heart stops, don't start it again, or don't put me on life support to prolong my life, don't take extraordinary measures. A living will designates, much like what I just said, what life-sustaining medical treatment you will or will not allow should you become incapacitated. Do you want blood transfusions? those kind of things. Durable power of attorney for health care authorizes a person to make medical care decisions on your behalf, so that's like a limited power of attorney, like if certain situations arise. So some important papers, checklists that you need to make sure that you have. You need to have your birth certificate, your spouse's, and any dependents. You need to have marriage certificates if you're married, divorce papers if you're divorced, proof of any legal name changes, social security documents, and automobile registrations. If you are served in the armed services, you need to have military services records, veterans documents, DD-214s, those kind of things. You need to have insurance policies, any kind of records of joint bank accounts, safe deposit box records along with the keys, titles to stocks and bond certificates, the title to your house, any mortgage documents, any other titles or deeds for things that you own, and proof of any retirement accounts, pension benefits, etc. Just in case somebody ever asks, you need to be able to prove what you have. Charitable giving is basically a reflection of your personal values, and these are donations that you make. You can do it at any time to organizations. A lot of people every week give money to their church, as a tithe, or they give money to a charity. Donations to 501c3 organizations are tax deductible if you itemize your deductions. Lifetime giving, as of 2016, you may give away up to $14,000 per individual without you paying any gift tax, but this is not a tax deduction for a giver, for the giver. Now, what this means is you're not going to get off, it's not pre-tax in terms of income tax, but you could give up to $14,000 away without paying any gift tax per person. That would be like to children or grandchildren or whatever, to individuals. I think that still holds true. Let me double check. Gift tax 2025. You use Form 709 for the Internal Revenue. Changes to line reference in the 2024. Let's see. I wish they would just tell us. Let's see what Form 709 looks like. Okay, it's not going to tell me what I want to know. So we'll go with the 14,000. I don't know that it may be more now, but anyway, 14,000 per person. Per individual without you paying any gift tax. Okay, so, what last word on retirement? At what age do you want to retire? How much money should you set aside to live a certain life? If you want to live a simple life, you don't need as much as if you want to live a lavish life. Are you where you need to be on your road, depending upon how old you are right now and what you've done? What can you do to get on and stay on track? Do you have a will and advance directives? And do you have any plan for giving back time or resources in terms of charitable giving? So that's chapter 16. Last one, chapter 17, financial planning for life. There's 3 learning objectives. Assess your financial plan against your values, vision, and life goals. Evaluate the sustainability of your financial plan, because it is the key to your plan's success, and recognize the importance of evaluating the progress toward your goals as well as your goals' proper fit on an annual basis. First of all, you need to have balance. Assess your financial plan against your values, vision, and life goals. Prioritize what is important to you and what brings meaning to your life. Live within your means. Be economical in your decisions. You don't have to have everything all at one time. You can save for things. We live in a world of get it right now, and I'm not sure that that's the greatest way to do things. And be energetic. Do not procrastinate. Know your values. If you know your values, the decisions that you make are going to be fairly easy. So at the end of the day, there's a lot of platitudes that could be said, but they're the quote that's on the screen in the PowerPoint says, life is more than the money you have in the bank, the cars you drive, and the houses you own. When you come to your last days, your investment portfolio won't matter nearly as much as the relationships into which you've invested your time. So make your emergency plans, set aside your savings, put some of your money into investments, but all of the while that you're doing this, be sure that you are putting as much time and energy into those relationships that surround you. Because here's the thing, if your investments ever fail or emergencies deplete your savings, having strong bonds with friends and family will get you through. Ooh, I'm going to cry, because these are the investments that really matter in life. Money comes and money goes, and I know it sounds very, very flip of me, but you can make more money. You can find money. You don't always get time. You don't get time to spend with friends and family. You don't get time to relax and play with your kids when they're young, because they're only young for a little while and then all of a sudden they're not. So that's a very powerful quote. But balance your life. Yes, making money is important. We all need money to live. But it's not the end all of everything. At the end of the day, who were you to people? What will they say about you? That's the important thing. So, let's get back on track. Sustainability. Frugality, being frugal, is not deprivation, and it's not about being cheap. It's just not about being wasteful. I told you I was going to cry. I'm not joking. That quote really got me. Oh my goodness. Anyway, frugality is not depriving yourself of things that you need. It's just not being wasteful. Do you need 5 cars? How many can you drive at one time? Do you need 200 pairs of tennis shoes? It's need versus wants. Focus on values-driven goals. Is it important to you because it will be life-changing in some way, shape, form, or fashion, or is it just, are you doing it for the image? What's important to you? Periodically reassess what's going on with your money. They suggest that you do a monthly budget review. I do that. I look at every month, what did I spend, how am I doing, what am I doing? An annual budget review. Look at your investments periodically. I would suggest at least annually to make sure that they're on track. Make sure I always check my insurance. Am I covered enough? Can I get insurance cheaper somewhere else? And just do continual reassessment of all the financial areas of your life. Is the bank that you're working with is your money working for you in the bank, or is it just sitting there? Those kind of things. Finally, money is the only one of many resources that can be used to accomplish your goals. Your goals should be based on your values, vision, and your mission for your life. Money does not bring happiness, but using money as a resource in alignment with your values, vision, and goals can increase your happiness. Now, I joke about this in face-to-face class. Money doesn't bring happiness, but it's a lot easier to cry on the back seat of a Mercedes than it is on the back of a bicycle. But, I really am serious about this. You use your money wisely in terms with your values and your vision, and you use it for goal achievement. All the way back to the beginning, remember the 90-10 rule. Spend 90, save 10%, or spend 80%, save 10%, give 10%. It's up to you. You could do 70, 20-10, 70-10, 20, 70, whatever. Everything that you do, every decision that you make is an opportunity cost, because you are giving up everything else you could do to do the one thing you choose. And understand that personal finance is personal. It's all about you. What you decide to do with your money is your business. It's not mine. What I decide to do with my money is my business. And so, we've given suggestions and ways to get through life to where you have money, but it's not, there's not one way to do it. There's many ways to get there. So that's the end of the book, and that's the end of the lesson, in terms of, I want you to be happy. I want you to make sure that you've done everything. I hope you've enjoyed the continuing case study and you've learned application lessons through that, because we learned about investing in a restaurant. We learned about buying things, buying insurance, buying cars, living in the house together, sharing expenses, all the things that you do in real life. And I hope that you found it to be interesting and informative. And again, if you need me, reach out to me, and look forward to seeing you maybe in the real world sometime. Have a great rest of your summer. Take care. Goodbye.